LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did it all correct in literally one day.
Caitlin Clark has just secured a huge LPGA agreement. And it's fair to say A'ja Wilson is reacting very publicly. The announcement exploded within the WNBA community, and social media is currently experiencing a complete meltdown. One player's triumph is another's major problem, and this situation is the perfect example. I have a question for you. Do you believe A'ja's response stemmed from genuine frustration, or was it simply envy? Okay, let's dive into the pandemonium. As the entire sports world is fixated on this topic, Caitlin Clark, the icon of women's hoops, a viewership powerhouse, and the reigning monarch of endorsements, has just landed a partnership with the LPGA Tour. Yes, that is absolutely correct. This isn't a single collaboration or a simple photo opportunity. It's a comprehensive contract. Yes, sources indicate it's a multi-million-dollar agreement, complete with joint promotional events, brand showcases, and exclusive marketing rights that extend all the way through the 2026 season. The partnership links her persona to women's golf, positioning her as a symbol of female achievement and athletic strength. The moment the official announcement was made, the internet completely erupted. While the majority of fans expressed support, saying she deserved it, some others, including a few notable WNBA figures, were clearly displeased. This is where A'ja Wilson comes in. Now, A'ja cleverly avoided mentioning Clark by name. She's far too media savvy for such a direct move. However, she didn't need to. A single tweet was all it took. Instantly, every sports blog had a new headline ready to go. So you're saying you can miss shots and still secure golf money these days? That was the post. That was all that was needed. In a flash, her replies were inundated with fans writing, "Just name Caitlin Clark and be done with it." Because, let's be realistic, who else could she possibly have been referring to? Caitlin Clark's name is now the flashpoint for much of the league. Every action she takes, every contract she signs, every picture she shares, someone out there gets upset about it. And this LPGA agreement has elevated things to a whole new plane.
In a previous video, how this Pro-Am event originally wasn't even going to be televised, but there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, how can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it? All of these things. And it ended up being put on television, and that was great. Fans were really excited about that. There was so much buzz online. She was trending on Twitter, all of the things. And the LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event. And they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently #1 golfer in the world.
Let's be direct. Caitlin Clark has earned more in 2 years than many WNBA players will in a whole career. That isn't a critique, it's a simple fact. She is the marketing powerhouse the league was starved for. The issue, however, is that her success consistently makes other stars seem like supporting characters in their own stories. A'ja Wilson has 2 MVP awards, numerous championships, and a career record most athletes would envy. But in terms of endorsements, she's hardly in the same league. That's the core reason this blew up. It's not just about Clark's golf partnership. It is about a league that has been divided right down the center between the established veterans and the rising star power. Clark is the media's latest fascination, new, marketable, and adored by sponsors. Wilson embodies the grind, the athlete who was dominant before the cameras arrived. So when the LPGA news broke, A'ja's tweet was more than just a jab, it was a declaration of war.
Caitlin Clark's so good, she's got me following golf. And thanks to her, I now know who Nelly Korda is. And if there's one thing we can count on with Clark, it's that she's gonna draw a crowd.
And you can hardly fault her for being annoyed. The timing was terrible. She just finished a legendary season and received a small part of the attention Clark gets for just existing. It's like A'ja wins a championship, and the media says, great, now let's check Caitlin's Instagram. It has to sting. But this is also the state of modern sports. It's not just about your performance, it's about how many viewers you attract, and Caitlin Clark attracts viewers like no one else. The LPGA recognized that. Sponsors recognize that. Every single brand with a marketing department recognize that. They desire someone who sells seats, moves merchandise, and keeps the online world buzzing. A'ja Wilson, despite her immense talent, has not been that figure. She's well respected, but she is not a headline generator. Caitlin Clark is a narrative engine, and that makes some of these veterans furious. Now let's discuss the financials briefly. The rumor circulating suggests the LPGA deal is valued at about $6 to $8 million over a 2-year period. It encompasses brand functions, several cross-promotions, and a joint media venture with Titleist and Nike Golf. Caitlin Clark is so influential she has me watching golf, and because of her I'm now aware of Nelly Cordes. If there is one thing we can expect from Clark, it is that she will attract a crowd, from the hardwood to the fairway. So yes, Clark just connected the worlds of basketball and golf, a dual sport promotional force. And you can practically hear A'ja grinding her teeth in Las Vegas, as this is not the first instance where Clark has eclipsed her. Let's rewind. Remember the media coverage of the WNBA finals last year. The Aces secured another championship, yet Clark was the #1 trending subject on social media that very day. That's the sort of thing that erodes respect and fosters resentment. To compound the issue, fans continuously add to the conflict. Some of Clark's supporters don't just praise her, they use her achievements to diminish others. You see comments like, "She's the true face of this league," or "She's contributing more to the WNBA than anybody else." While those statements might be statistically accurate, they also pour fuel on an already intense ego clash. So, when A'ja saw the LPGA news, she reacted not overtly enough for a fine, but just enough to make a point. And that point was unmistakable. "I am done being the MVP, who is treated like an afterthought." The ironic part though, Caitlin Clark has never responded. Not a single time. She doesn't post about it, throw shade, or even recognize the drama. That is partly why she is so loved by brands. She's a PR ideal. Polished, dedicated, and uncontroversial. Meanwhile, others engage in Twitter disputes and alienate sponsors. Caitlin just continues to sign contracts and stay silent, and that silence is more cutting than any trash talk could ever be. Because A'ja can secure another title, but Caitlin will still generate more buzz by hitting a golf ball on social media. That is the marketing power gap. It isn't just, but it is reality. Even fans outside of basketball are weighing in. Golf enthusiasts are excited, suggesting Clark's charisma could finally propel the LPGA into the mainstream. Conversely, some traditional WNBA fans are dismissive, saying she's everywhere except the playoffs. The divide is widening, and the league is aware of it. Now this is where the story gets even more compelling. The LPGA agreement wasn't a spontaneous event, it was a meticulously orchestrated plan, developed over months. The word is that Nike played a role in brokering the partnership. They aimed to create an athlete crossover brand, and Caitlin Clark was the ideal candidate. Why? Because she already signifies something beyond basketball. She signifies hype. Any league she collaborates with experiences a surge in views, clicks, and merchandise revenue. From a commercial perspective, it is brilliant. But from the WNBA's viewpoint, it is utter chaos. A'ja Wilson's exasperation reflects what many players are privately feeling, that Caitlin's international celebrity is not being distributed equitably throughout the league. It is as if the Caitlin Clark phenomenon elevated the WNBA, but not for everyone. The rest are still waiting for that rising tide to lift them. And now that she is extending her reach past basketball, some athletes feel totally abandoned. They are out here vying for bonuses and modest marketing deals, while Caitlin secures multi-million-dollar contracts in another sport. That's the type of situation that breeds friction in locker rooms, in media interviews, and even at official league functions. Players begin to feel like extras in the Caitlin show, and the fans sense this tension. Now, let's discuss how A'ja's tweet escalated even more. In a matter of hours, her name was trending, and not for a good reason. People were calling her bitter, envious, and insecure. Some even drew parallels to those who complained when Tiger Woods initially shattered golf records, remarking, "Here we go again, another star angry about someone else's triumph." That comparison stung. A'ja attempted to retract it later, claiming her tweet was misinterpreted and that she was only kidding. But by then, the internet had already formed its own conclusion, and we all know how social media operates. Once sides are chosen, the discussion devolves into a circuit. Half the comments were defending Caitlyn as if she were a national icon. The other half were asserting that Wilson remains one of the greatest ever. But here is the reality. Both statements can be correct. Caitlin Clark can be the most marketable athlete today, and A'ja Wilson can simultaneously feel undervalued. The issue is how the league manages or fails to manage that dynamic. The WNBA repeatedly talks about expansion, yet its own stars are feuding rather than supporting one another. And the league allows it to continue because drama generates clicks. If the WNBA possessed a capable PR team, they would have instantly spun this into a marketing victory. Behold, two incredible athletes excelling in their fields. Instead, they allowed it to devolve into another Caitlyn versus A'ja conflict online. And you can be sure the sponsors observed this. Brands prefer cheerful, unified ambassadors, not complicated headlines. But they are also aware that each time Caitlin Clark's name trends, their items fly off the shelves. So who ultimately benefits? Yes, Caitlyn does again. Now for the plot twist. Sources close to the LPGA suggest this deal might be the precursor to something much larger. They are looking to create a joint exhibition event where WNBA and LPGA stars would collaborate for a charitable cause. It is meant to promote cross-sport unity, but given the current climate, it could either be the most uplifting event in history or a complete tension-filled catastrophe. Can you picture Caitlin Clark on the tee next to Nelly Korda while A'ja Wilson forces a smile for the camera? Yes, that is prime meme material for the year. But in truth, this is not a new phenomenon. We have witnessed this type of envy before across all sports. When LeBron emerged as the face of the NBA, established stars were not exactly thrilled. When Serena Williams began to dominate tennis endorsements, fellow players were dismissive. It is a recurring pattern. Success leads to wealth. Wealth leads to exposure, and exposure leads to jealousy. A'ja is just the latest athlete to be caught in that emotional whirlwind. And here is the unfortunate part. She seems unaware of how much she reinforces Caitlyn's value with every reaction. The more she is discussed, the more prominent she becomes. It's the Streisand effect applied to sports stardom. Complain about someone enough, and they only gain more relevant. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has remained completely silent. No press, no retorts, just business as usual. She is likely somewhere with her agent, laughing, while signing her next deal as the internet continues to battle on her behalf. And frankly, that could be the most intelligent strategy of all, because while the world debates who is more deserving, she is accumulating wealth from various sectors: basketball, golf, fashion, technology. The next step will probably be a Netflix documentary or a Nike feature film. Caitlin Clark isn't just participating in the game, she is redefining how it's promoted. And A'ja Wilson, she is still trying to comprehend why her 2 MVP awards don't yield the same results. It isn't because A'ja lacks talent, she is phenomenal. It is because Caitlyn possesses what every company desires: visibility. She is the kind of person you can build an entire brand around. Her followers are devoted, vocal, and perpetually online. That is invaluable in 2020. So, as A'ja expresses her frustration on Twitter, Caitlyn is constructing an empire, one endorsement at a time. But the most pressing question is this: how long can this friction persist before it erupts into something more significant? Because this is no longer just about A'ja and Caitlyn. This entire situation has the potential to fracture the league. You have the veteran players who believe Clark's success has come too easily. Then there is the new generation of fans who feel the league's resurgence is due to her alone. And caught in the middle is the WNBA administration, acting as if everything is okay while likely hoping both factions keep the conversation going. Because, at the very least, people are now watching. It is complicated, it is dramatic, and it is precisely what keeps the news cycle turning. But if the WNBA fails to manage this situation effectively, they risk undoing the unity they have spent years cultivating. Because, whether you admire or dislike Caitlin Clark, you cannot dispute that she has elevated the league to new heights. The current task is to ensure that everyone reaps the benefits of that growth. Not only her. As for A'ja Wilson, she has 2 choices: continue posting tweets that portray her as bitter, or change her approach and leverage the attention. Because, at this moment, her name is trending due to Clark, and that is not how an MVP should be making headlines. If she is smart, she will convert this into a strategic advantage, sign her own major deal, create a podcast, launch a product line, anything. Prove that she is more than just the athlete who got angry on the internet. Because, while fans appreciate authenticity, they dislike pettiness, and currently, she is walking that very fine line. In the meantime, Caitlin Clark continues to succeed, both in her sport and in business. The LPGA deal is just another component of her expanding domain, and whether you support her or not, she is navigating the world of fame with perfection. That level of composure cannot be taught. She is transforming silence into strategy and criticism into buzz. And if Aja Wilson fails to adjust quickly, she will continue to be overshadowed by the noise. So what is your opinion? Is Aja Wilson justified in her anger, or is Caitlin Clark simply outperforming everyone off the court as well? Leave your opinions in the comments section below. I want to know. And if you appreciated this analysis, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. We have more compelling stories on the way.